Picture this. You're rushing through the airport, late for your flight, dreading the long line of security. But then something miraculous happens. The TSA agent tells you to keep your shoes on. After 19 years of removing shoes, the Department of Homeland Security has suddenly decided that maybe, just maybe, we don't need to take our shoes off after all. Today, we're diving deep into the 3 terrorist incidents that shaped modern airport security. So stow your tray tables, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for some turbulence, because this is Final Boarding Call. Beep, beep, beep. Let me unmute you.
Yeah, it's way more fun when I'm unmuted, isn't it?
It is. It's extra fun when you're not eating a cookie into the mic.
People like it.
Ugh, people are freaky. All right, hello and welcome to a special 2-parter. We're going to let you know right up front that this is a 2-parter. This is obviously a huge topic that we're going to cover of Final Boarding Call. I am your disaster-obsessed host, Alice.
And I am Zach, reluctant homebody. I think I just saw a squirrel run by and it distracted me.
Literally. Squirrel. Oh, boy. Okay.
We've got a lovely whomping willow outside. At least that's what I think of when I see it.
Well, I love that. Okay. I'm going to real quick go over our sources.
It might be that giant fly.
Yeah, we have a huge fly that's just flying around us.
That's a big fly.
He's a big boy. Okay, we have the TSA Wikipedia page. Wikipedia pages from all of the attacks that we're going to talk about, or attempted attacks. We have an amazing NPR article by David Shaper. We have an article by Diane Grace as well. Before we dive into the attacks that we're going to talk about today, let's set the scene. On September 10th, 2001, airport security was a completely different world. So, Zach, I know that you didn't do a tremendous amount of flying as a youth.
I did 0.
Okay, you did 0. I did a lot, multiple flights a year. And I remember having my Nana, for example, walk us to our gate when we were leaving New Jersey and kiss us goodbye as we got onto the airplane. Obviously, can't do that anymore, but you used to be able to go shopping inside of an airport, eat food inside of an airport. It was essentially a mall with planes. Yeah, right? Cool, fun, funky. Okay, the security checkpoint was run by private contractors hired by airlines, and these contracts went to the lowest bidder. So the screening process was basically walk through a metal detector, maybe get your bag x-rayed, keep your shoes on, bring any amount of liquids that you wanted. The FAA allowed knives up to 4 inches long on the aircraft. So that's wild.
That part's not that weird to me. It's just a knife.
Yeah, but now they would lose their shit if they saw you trying to bring a knife. I one time got a cuticle tool removed out of my bag. Like the little metal thing that has the hook on the end of it. Weapon. After 9/11, everything changed overnight. The Aviation and Transportation Safety Act created the TSA, and they did it in record time, hiring 55,000 security screeners in less than 1 year.
That's big.
55,000 people. But what's fascinating is how the TSA's approach has been entirely reactive. Every major security measure that we know about today was implemented because somebody tried to do some stupid shit. So we're going to walk through them. We are literally going to go through an exercise of like, think of the TSA thing you have to do, and then we're going to talk about why you have to do it. There's always a warning label on stuff because somebody was dumb enough to try to do that thing.
McDonald's has to write, "Caution, your coffee is hot," because that lady
Sued them.
Yeah, and won.
All right, let's talk about why we need to take our shoes off. And well, used to have to take our shoes off. Richard Colvin Reid was born in London in 1973 to a petty criminal father who was in prison for car theft when Reid was born. He followed in his father's footsteps, accumulating more than 10 convictions by his teens and serving time at multiple juvenile facilities. He was a graffiti writer who went by N-Roll as part of a gang.
That sounds racist.
Okay. Look, I'm very naive with like the street slang and whatnot, so I always have to check it with you because there are terms that I genuinely don't know.
Well, I'm going to let you know that enroll is not one of them.
In 1992, while serving a 3-year sentence for street robberies, Reid converted to Islam. Upon his release in 1995, he initially joined the moderate Brixton Mosque, but by 1998, he had moved to the Finsbury Park Mosque in North London. This mosque was headed by Abu Hamma al-Masri, an anti-American cleric described as the heart of the extremist Islamic culture in Britain. Okay, that just rolls right off the tongue. At Finsbury Park, Reid fell under the influence of what investigators called terrorist talent spotters and handlers, which is very different than when you're at the mall and somebody comes up to you and it's like, oh my God, have you ever considered being a model? And then they give you this card and then you go to this scouting thing and they tell you how for like $15,000 you can become a model. For me, it was never modeling, but I did get scouted for like Disney Channel, but it was a scam. At Finsbury Park, Reid fell under the influence of what investigators called terrorist talent spotters and handlers, including Jamal Behal, one of the leaders of a foiled 2001 suicide bombing plot against the American embassy in Paris. Reid spent 1999 and 2000 in Pakistan, where he trained at terrorist camps in Afghanistan, and he may have attended an anti-American religious training center as well. Unconfirmed, but may have happened. After returning to Britain, Reid tried to obtain duplicate passports from British consulates abroad, which is a classic terrorist tactic for creating false identities. He lived and traveled across Europe while maintaining communication through an address in Pakistan, which is where Al-Qaeda had been formed in the late 1980s.
Everybody hates America.
In November 2001, Reid and another British terrorist named Sahid Badat returned to Pakistan and reportedly traveled overland to Afghanistan. There, they were given what investigators called shoe bombs, casual footwear that had been adapted to be covertly smuggled onto aircraft. Later,
I am curious to see what these would look like.
I know, yeah.
Like, are they platform shoes? Is there a bunch of space? Or is this just a normal rubber-soled shoe and they just managed some explosive in there?
They're just like 10-inch platform boots.
Yeah.
It's like, bet you like this boot?
Those people should still be stopped by TSA and made to remove their shoes because they could actually have some stuff in there.
Oh boy. If I saw somebody wearing, anytime, honestly, that I see people wearing those crazy platform shoes, I'm just in awe of them. I put on like a 3-inch high heel and I'm walking like Bambi on ice. Like, it's horrible.
It's different to walk in a high heel than it is to walk on big old platform shoes. The platforms have you still flat-footed, but up however many inches.
Okay, there's a crazy season of America's Next Top Model where they have to walk in some super nutty platforms. And those girls, one of the girls, I think, breaks her ankle walking in them.
It's not funny.
No, it's horrible.
And funny.
Okay, anyway, shoe bombs. Later, forensic analysis would show that both bombs contained identical plastic explosives, and the detonator cords had come from the same batch. The cut mark on Badat's cord exactly matched the cut on Reid's. So they were essentially, what that means is they were coordinated. Exactly. Yeah. It was going to be a coordinated attack on flights from Europe to the United States. USA. Reid returned to Europe in early December 2001, spent 10 days in Belgium, then on December 16th, took a train to Paris. His target was American Airlines Flight 63 from Paris to Miami. December 21st, 2001, Reid's first attempt. Reid arrived at Charles de Gaulle Airport looking disheveled and suspicious. That is what Wikipedia said, and I love it. So I left it in there. Disheveled and suspicious. His appearance was actually so concerning that airline passenger screeners delayed his boarding and referred him to the French National Police. He was questioned for hours by an ICTS agent and French police due to what they described as evasive behavior and a suspicious lack of luggage for somebody who was flying across the world.
Didn't even have a backpack. I traveled
Not
light.
planning on staying long? Question mark. Like, that's weird. Here's the crucial part. Because Reid's British passport was genuine and his name wasn't on any terrorist watch list, the police didn't x-ray him or use bomb-sniffing dogs. They had no legal authority to do more than just question him. The extended questioning meant that he missed Flight 63. So he stayed overnight at an airport hotel while American Airlines was allowed to reissue him a ticket for the next day. The 24-hour delay would prove crucial, but not in the way that you might be thinking, Zach. So now, it is December 22nd, 2001.
It's almost Christmas.
It's almost Christmas. Let's talk about an attempted terrorist attack. So Reid returned to the airport and actually successfully boarded American Airlines Flight 63. So, same flight, different day. And this time he must have showered and shaved because he got on the flight, no problem. He was wearing shoes packed with 10 ounces of plastic explosive in the hollowed out bottoms. This is not a small amount. Investigators later confirmed that it was enough to blow a hole in the fuselage and absolutely cause the plane to crash, which would have killed the 197 people aboard.
Sounds right.
After 20 minutes into the flight after takeoff, meal service is happening. They got right to it.
Yeah,
I feel like that's quite, I know. Passengers began complaining about the smell of smoke. What could it be? Flight attendant Hermes Motardier, please forgive my French pronunciation, but I feel like it is Hermes Motardier. Motardier? All right, French people, do I sound like I know what I'm saying? No, Zach is shaking his head. Be nice to me. I'm doing my best.
I took French. You do not sound like you know what you're talking about.
How would you pronounce it?
I don't know. I can't see it.
It's this. Would you take 1 year of French? Think you know it all? Oh. How come you never speak French to me? Okay, anyway, what name is that?
I believe you would still pronounce the S on that. So I think it would be Hermes Moutarde.
All right, Zach sounds better, for sure. Whatever. Hermione. Okay. Anyway, this wonderful flight attendant thought that she smelt a burnt match, and she walked through the aisles trying to locate the source. She found Reid sitting alone near a window, attempting to light a match, which probably looked so emo. You know, just like imagine the emo kid on the airplane. Nobody understands me.
I'm sorry, I can't be perfect.
Oh my gosh, you know what's funny, Zach? For whatever reason, I have a pronunciation for her name. I just put it, I skipped the first time her name is mentioned. And I have the pronunciation as Mutadier, which I think is exactly what you said. Mutadier.
I mean, I probably didn't roll out the D as much, but yeah, you're supposed
Dieu,
to.
Dieu, Dieu. All right, anyway, she warns him that smoking is not allowed on the aircraft. And Reid promises to stop.
My bad.
Oops, nobody gets me. But a few minutes later, she found him leaned over in his seat yet again. When she asks him what he's doing, Reid grabbed her. In that moment, she could see one shoe in his lap, a fuse leading into the shoe, and a lit match in his hand. Reid was seconds away from detonating a bomb that would have killed everyone.
Quick, blow it out.
Well, what happens next was chaos. Several passengers, realizing what was happening, worked together to subdue the 6'4", 215-pound Reid.
I would like to say 215 is a lot, but I tipped the scales a little further, so who am I to judge?
You're a great guy to have on planes, good at restraining. They restrained him using plastic handcuffs, seatbelt extensions, leather waist belts, and headphone cords, which is so MacGyver. Like, just...
I feel like any one of those would have sufficed, but instead they're like, use all of them.
If there's a lunatic trying to blow up the plane, I will do anything. Use everything he got. An off-duty doctor found a tranquilizer in the aircraft's emergency medical kit and
said, tight, let me shoot him with it.
Yes, did. They administered it to him to sedate him. The flight was immediately diverted to Logan International Airport in Boston, which was the closest U.S. airport where Reid was arrested the moment the plane landed. But here is the key question. Why didn't the bomb explode?
He didn't get the match to it?
The answer reveals just how close this attack came to succeeding. The explosive device had been designed to work, and Reid had successfully gotten it through airport security. The only reason that 197 people survived was pure luck. The rainy weather in Paris, combined with Reid's foot sweat during his nervous 24-hour delay, had made the fuse too damp to ignite. What?
That explains why he had to try multiple. They smelt the match first, which is a sign that nobody had noticed him trying to light it the first time. And he's probably sitting there panicking, just like, what the fuck, man? Get this going.
Crazy. If he had been able to get on that first flight, he likely would have blown it up.
Yeah.
The attack failed due to meteorology. So we do have to give kudos to the security that flagged him as being
sketchy,
you know, so that's something, I guess. But he still was not written down on like a do not fly list, and he was issued another ticket, no questions asked. Oh, the legal aftermath, in case you're wondering what happened to him, was swift. He was charged with 9 terrorism-related counts, though one was later dismissed because the congressional definition of vehicle didn't include aircraft. Yeah.
Everything is so dumb
Nuanced.
and fine print. Like, it turns out it doesn't matter what country you're in. Like, he should have been, you know, they had reasonable suspicion for this guy, enough to pull him to the side before his first flight. But they weren't allowed to do anything about it. How stupid is that? Because of red tape.
It's wild for sure. So on October 4th, 2002, so this is very quick because this is less than a year since the attacks. So they're like getting him through this judicial system. October 4th, he pleaded guilty to the remaining 8 counts. During his sentencing hearing, which was on July 31st, 2003, he showed zero remorse. He declared himself an enemy of the United States, And he said that he was a soldier under the command of Osama bin Laden. Federal Judge William Young was, quote, not having it, end quote. He sentenced Reid to 3 consecutive life sentences, plus another 110 years, just to add a little.
Just a cherry on top.
Just a cherry on top. And of course, that is all without parole. And he told him, you are not a soldier in any army. You're a terrorist. To call you a soldier gives you far too much stature.
I would have more just gone, you're actually not a terrorist at all. You're just a prisoner.
Now, are you ready for what I found to be one of the craziest facts of this whole story?
Tell me.
He is currently serving his sentence in Florence, Colorado.
Yeah, it's like the biggest maximum security.
Okay, well.
There's lots of terrible, terrible people in this state, if you can believe it.
There are. It's considered a supermax facility that holds the most dangerous federal prisoners.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if you knew about it. I was like, I can't wait to tell Zach about this crazy prison.
I've driven past it. I've stared at it. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure I have too. It's in Florence. Okay. The TSA's response to the shoe bomber was immediate, but initially modest. They began asking passengers to voluntarily remove their shoes.
Ice maker.
Wow. But this was just the beginning. Zach, the shoe bomber, had demonstrated that terrorists could conceal explosives in everyday items. So let's see.
And a pretty small package is enough to do some serious damage.
So Zach, what is another TSA rule that you think about?
They make me take off my belt even though I have TSA pre.
Okay.
Annoying.
That is annoying. And we will actually get to a story that is adjacent to that. But I was more so thinking the 3-ounce liquid rule, which I hate.
It does seem absurd, but at least that one I've always understood. Like, you can have some liquids that can mix together and make an explosion. It takes, 2 different liquids together? Might be 3 is the minimum. I don't remember. I'm not a scientist.
Well, let's talk about liquids. Fast forward to 2006, and British intelligence was conducting what would become the UK's largest surveillance operation in history. They were tracking a sophisticated terrorist plot that made Reid's shoe bomb look like amateur hour. The operation began when British authorities started monitoring a man named Abdullah Ahmed Ali, who had recently returned from Pakistan in June 2006. When investigators covertly opened his luggage, they found something concerning. Powdered soft drink mix, specifically Tang, and a large number of batteries.
Love Tang.
This combination raised immediate suspicions about bomb-making materials.
So they Googled real quick.
Is Tang
explosive?
To your intestines? Absolutely. What followed was an intensive surveillance operation involving 220 additional officers from multiple police forces. They watched as Asad Sarwar from High Wycombe, sorry, our British people, made purchases that seemed inconsistent with normal daily needs. That always reminds me of like when a jilted husband goes to the store and buys like a shovel, a tarp, bleach. You're like
duct tape and a
duct
rope.
tape. You're like, ugh, what you doing?
And a hammer.
Yeah. So let's talk about the sketchy stuff that he's buying. On one occasion, surveillance officers watched him dispose of empty hydrogen peroxide bottles at a recycling center. Hydrogen peroxide, while legally available as hair bleach, is also a key component in explosives. When MI5 agents covertly entered a flat being used by Ali, they discovered what appeared to be a bomb factory. They installed hidden cameras and microphones. Then they watched and they waited. It's like real life SWAT. On August 3rd, 2006, the surveillance team hit the jackpot. They filmed Ali and Tabnir Hussein constructing explosive devices out of drink bottles. The setup was sophisticated. They were using legitimate Oasis and Lucozade sports drink bottles. Wondering if that's something that was not.
I bet they were all orange flavored. Well, think about it. To put the tang in there with it, so it would look like that's what it was.
Oh, we're about to get to the tang. But they replaced the contents with a deadly mixture. The plan was diabolical in its simplicity. The terrorists would board flights carrying what appeared to be normal, unopened soft drink bottles. Inside, the original contents had been replaced with hydrogen peroxide mixed with Tang drink powder to match the original color of the sports drinks. Bada bing, bada boom. They would inject additional explosive materials into the bottles using syringes without ever removing the bottle caps. The entry holes would be resealed, making the bottles appear completely normal to security. The actual detonation would come from improvised explosive devices hidden inside AA battery casings, connected to the flash units of disposable cameras.
Ingenious.
It's smart. I mean, that is really smart. What a waste of talent. Like, it really is so sad. You're dead set on killing a bunch of people, but if you actually put that brain to some good use, it could do a lot of good for the world.
Doing good doesn't pay well.
I don't think being a terrorist pays particularly well either.
I don't know. Maybe they get like a year of really good living and their family's taken care of.
Well,
maybe not.
No, I don't know, and I don't know.
They do it for the passion.
The process would happen mid-flight. Board the plane with the disguised liquid explosives, assemble the detonator components in the aircraft bathroom, and then detonate the devices. Each bomber would essentially build their bomb during the flight itself. The target list was ambitious and absolutely terrifying. The plotters had researched 7 specific flights, all departing from London Heathrow to major cities in the US and Canada. If successful, this coordinated attack would have killed over 2,000 people.
Jeez.
Across multiple aircraft in a single day. I mean, that's nuts. Surveillance officers later watched Ali spend 2 hours at an internet cafe researching flight timetables and studying airline security procedures. The investigation had reached what police called a critical point where they believed that an attack would be pretty imminent. I don't know what more you want, like maybe like booking a ticket. He seems pretty committed. On August 9th, 2006, the British police intervened. So in overnight raids across London, Birmingham, and High Wycombe, they arrested 24 suspects. The key suspects were British-born Muslims, some of Pakistani descent, and several were recent converts to Islam. The evidence recovered was extensive. Police performed 69 searches of residences, businesses, vehicles, and open spaces, and man, did they hit the jackpot. They found bomb-making equipment, chemicals, digital evidence, more than 400 computers, 200 cell phones, and 8,000 items of removable storage media for the babies.
It's an SD card.
It's a memory stick, CDs, and DVDs. Physical things.
What's a DVD?
From the computers alone, they collected 6 terabytes of data, which for 2006
It's a lot.
is a lot. It's a lot. A lot. But there was controversy about the timing of the arrests. NBC News reported significant disagreements between US and UK authorities over when to move in. According to their sources, senior British officials contended that an attack was actually not imminent. because the suspects had not purchased airline tickets, and some of them did not have passports. British authorities wanted to continue surveillance to gather more evidence and identify additional conspirators. However, U.S. officials reportedly threatened to use extraordinary rendition, on suspected ringleader Rashid Ruff in Pakistan, or pressure Pakistan to arrest him. And then, basically the U.S. forced the UK's hand.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't completely disagree with the UK. You have surveillance in the building where they have all the explosives, and you can just wait to see them start packing stuff up and be like, okay, now it's time.
Yeah.
It's riskier, but it does give you a chance to get a whole lot more people.
It does. And I feel like if they took precautions of making sure that those people were barred from flying.
Yeah, they were already flagged as soon as they bought a ticket, anything like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. The TSA's response was immediate. So, like anything with TSA, the second something happens, they're like, boom, baby, we're on it. On August 10th, 2006, they banned all liquids, gels, and aerosols from carry-on bags. Like everything liquid. Water bottles, coffee, shampoo, toothpaste, which isn't even really
it's
a liquid.
Semi-solid.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what point did that come back into being a normal thing where you could have like up to 3 ounces?
We'll talk about it because obviously this is very extreme and it did not last long. So an estimated 400,000 passengers were affected on the first day. And it cost airlines over £175 million. As many as 20,000 bags were misplaced at Heathrow. British Airlines had to cancel over 1,200 flights, and Ryanair canceled 500 flights. It just was terrible. A month later, in September 2006, the TSA modified it to what we know now, the 311 rule. Liquids, gels, and aerosols in containers of 3.4 ounces or less, all fitting in a single quart-sized clear plastic bag, 1 bag per passenger. And this is when shoe removal became mandatory as well for all passengers. The TSA reasoned that if terrorists could hide explosives and liquids, they could keep hiding them in shoes as well.
It's like a waterbed. I've got water soles. What?
Boy. So for this trial, it was way more complicated than the one on Reid, our shoe bomber in the first story, it was like less than a year. It was like bing, bang, boom. This had multiple defendants. It had international intelligence evidence. And it led to 3 completely separate trials. So the first trial in 2008 ended with mixed verdicts. 3 men were convicted of conspiracy to murder, but the jury couldn't reach unanimous decisions on the most serious charges of conspiracy to blow up an aircraft. And I wonder if that has to do with them not buying a ticket. I don't know. A second trial in 2009 finally secured convictions on the aircraft bombing charges for the 3 ringleaders. They were sentenced to life imprisonment, with Ali receiving at least 40 years, Sarwar at least 36 years, and Hussein at least 32 years. A third trial in 2010 convicted 3 more conspirators, each receiving 20-year minimum sentences. So that's a ton of people that were involved in this ring. So this was a genuine sophisticated threat to aviation security. This could have been the largest, most sophisticated terrorist attack in the world. The liquid bomb plot demonstrated real danger facing aviation, but again, it was not TSA that discovered it, thank goodness. It was, stopped before it could even really begin. And then TSA did what it does best, in my opinion, which is like panic and immediately implement another rule. Yes. Oh my God. All right. Let's tell a wild story about underwear.
What kind of underwear?
My favorite pair of underwear Hey down there. Our daughter listens to, like, one of her favorite videos is literally a video about a pair of underwear. And on that note,
don't forget one of her favorite books. It's also underwear. Look at my underwear. I've got a stretchy pair.
I've got it right here.
You've got a giant bottom. You need
Thunderpants.
giant underwear.
We highly recommend the book Thunderpants by Make Believe Ideas, and that's our fun pitch of the book pitch of the day.
And if you guys want to sponsor us.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Unhinged sponsorship right there. All right, underwear. By 2009, airport security had evolved significantly. We had the 311 liquid rule, mandatory shoe removal, and enhanced screening procedures. But Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab was about to demonstrate that determined terrorists will still find ways to circumvent any security measure. Umar's story is fascinating and tragic because it reveals massive intelligence failures that should have prevented the attack entirely. He wasn't some unknown radical operating in the shadows. He was on the radar of multiple intelligence agencies, and his own father literally called the CIA. Like, hey, my kid has lost his mind.
Back in that day, they said marbles.
Marbles. Born December 22nd, 1986, in Nigeria, Umar was the youngest of 16 children, and he was described by the Times as one of the richest men in Africa. His father was a former chairman of First Bank of Nigeria and former Nigerian Federal Commissioner for Economic Development. This was not a poor, disenfranchised young man. This is a kid of enormous wealth and enormous privilege.
Aren't they always?
Well, Umar attended elite schools, including the British School of Lomé in Togo, and was considered a gifted student who enjoyed PlayStation games and basketball. But according to people who knew him, he became increasingly aloof during his teenage years, detaching himself from his peers. In 2004 and 2005, Umar studied at the Sana'a Institute for the Arabic language in Yemen, and he attended lectures at Ayman University. In September 2005, he began studying mechanical engineering at University College London, one of Britain's most prestigious universities. At UCL, he became president of the Islamic Society, which was described as a vehicle for peaceful protest against the US and UK actions in the war on terror. During his tenure, the society participated in martial arts training and paintball trips, one of which involved a preacher who reportedly said, "Dying while fighting jihad is one of the surest ways to paradise." It's paintball, my guy. Paintball. In January 2007, he organized a conference called War on Terror Week, featuring political figures, human rights lawyers, and former Guantanamo detainees. One lecture was titled Jihad versus Terrorism, and was billed as discussing the Islamic position with respect to jihad. Despite this activity, he was considered moderate and well-liked as president of the Islamic Society. But during these years, he had crossed the radar screen of MI5, Britain's domestic intelligence service, for radical links and multiple communications with Islamic extremists. In June 2008, he received a multiple entry U.S. visa valid until June 2010. He used this visa to visit Houston.
Beautiful place.
No! Okay, so he went to Houston in August 2008. After graduating from university, he made regular visits to his family's town in Kaduna, where his father was known for financing local mosque construction. The first major red flag came in May 2009, when he tried to return to Britain for what he claimed was a 6-month life coaching program. Now, folks, anytime somebody's part of a life coaching program, that's always a red flag, in my opinion. But when you have been linked to terrorist organizations, it's an extra red flag. British authorities concluded the school was fictitious, and they denied his visa application. His name was placed on a UK Home Office security watch list, meaning he couldn't enter the UK. In 2009, his father agreed to send him to Yemen to study Arabic. But once he was there, his behavior became increasingly concerning. He was the only African among 70 students at the school. Fellow students said he would start each day at dawn prayers, then spend hours in his room reading the Quran. After apparently leaving the institute after just 1 month while remaining in country, he routinely skipped classes and instead attended lectures at Ayman University, which was known for suspected links to terrorism. One classmate said, "He told me his greatest wish was for Islam to be the rule of law across the world." In October 2009, the situation escalated dramatically. So Umar sent his father a text message saying that he was no longer interested in pursuing an MBA in Dubai, and he wanted to study Sharia and Arabic in a 7-year course in Yemen. When his father threatened to cut off his funding, Umar said that he was already getting everything for free and refused to identify his financial supporters.
Daddy, I don't need you no more. I'm a big boy.
He sent additional texts stating that he would be cutting off contact and disowning his family. The family last heard from Umar in October 2009. This is when his father made the decision that should have prevented the Christmas Day attack. On November 19th, 2009, he walked into the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria and met with 2 CIA officers. He reported his son's extreme religious views and told them that Umar might be in Yemen with terrorists. This wasn't a vague concern. This was a very specific warning from a credible source. The CIA's response was bureaucratically correct, but ultimately completely inadequate. They added Umar's name to the terrorist identities data mart environment. Wow, that's a fun one. It's called Tide.
Kind of like Bargain Mart.
Yeah.
We just got some people listed here. It's fine.
Which is a database that contains 550,000 names. 550,000 names. That's a lot to scroll through. But they didn't add him to the FBI's terrorist screening database, which is the screening for the no-fly list. Mm-hmm. Most critically, his U.S. visa was not revoked. Here's where it gets a little more frustrating. U.S. State Department officials later testified to Congress that they had wanted to revoke his visa, but intelligence officials asked them not to. The reasoning was that revoking the visa could have foiled a larger investigation into al-Qaeda operations.
That is the flip side to the coin that we already talked about. They're always after the bigger fish, and, this time it didn't work out.
Yeah, this time it's not going to work out. Meanwhile, British authorities had information that could have been crucial, but they did not share it with the United States. The UK's rejection of Umar's visa application and his placement on their security watch list was not communicated to U.S. authorities because the visa denial was classified as immigration rather than national security.
I am blinking rapidly.
Oh my gosh. On November 11th, 2009, British intelligence sent a cable to the U.S. indicating that a man named Umar Farouk had spoken to Anwar al-Awlaki, pledging to support jihad. But the cable didn't include Umar's last name, making it difficult to connect to the CIA's existing file. They basically just gave him, they gave them a first name. We need more.
John is going to kill everybody.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, come on. So by December 2009, the U.S. intelligence community had multiple pieces of a puzzle that, when assembled, clearly pointed to Umar as a significant threat. His father directly warning the CIA, British intelligence reporting his contact with known terrorists, his placement on UK security watch lists, his extended presence in Yemen. But these pieces weren't ever put together. Meanwhile, in Yemen, Omar was undergoing al-Qaeda training. Intelligence officials believe that he met with Anwar al-Awlaki, the American-born cleric who had become an al-Qaeda's primary English language recruiter. He was associated with multiple terrorist plots, including connections to 3 of the 9/11 hijackers, and also the 2009 Fort Hood shooter. So, real piece of shit human being. So, Omar then traveled to the mountainous Shabwa province to meet with al-Qaeda elements. A video actually later surfaced showing him and other people training in a desert camp, firing weapons at targets, including the Star of David, the British Union Jack, and the letters UN. Again, like a terrible use of skills. Whoever is setting up this camp, if they weren't completely nuts, they could have done like an adorable children's camp. And instead, they're leading a terrorist operation. Terrible.
Wow.
This is really
Bit of a dreamer you are.
I'm just saying. It's just a waste. It's all a waste. On December 7th, 2009, Omar left Yemen, flying to Ethiopia and then to Ghana on December 9th. He remained in Ghana until December 24th, when he flew to Lagos. During this time, he was fitted with an underwear bomb containing PETN, which is the same explosive that Reid had actually used in his shoes. On December 24th, Omar purchased a ticket with cash for KLM Flight 588 from Lagos to Amsterdam, connecting to Northwest Airlines Flight 253 to Detroit. He had a Nigerian passport and a valid U.S. tourist visa. So he looks real up and up on paper. It's Christmas Day, SAC, December 25th, 2009, and Omar boarded Northwest Airlines Flight 253 in Amsterdam. The flight carried 290 people, 279 passengers, and 11 crew members. For most of the nearly 8-hour flight, nothing seemed amiss. I said amiss. Amiss. Omar was traveling alone, seated in 19A, a window seat over the wing. Oh, that's like my go-to spot. All right. About 20 minutes before the scheduled landing in Detroit, he got up and spent approximately 20 minutes in the bathroom, which by itself is very suspicious.
And nobody wants to sit in an airplane bathroom for a long period of time.
The hell are you doing for 20 minutes in the bathroom?
Masturbating.
I would have so preferred that being the ending to this story.
How do you feel that he would have been sitting next to you in your go-to seat?
Well,
you want the window too, so you
yeah, I want the window
in
too.
20A.
I don't know. It depends on where we're flying to. If it's somewhere scenic that I've never been to, I love a window. Anywhere else, like my normal flight from Colorado Springs to Dallas, I always get an aisle.
Because you want to just zip out of there.
I do, exactly. All right, let's talk about what he was doing in the bathroom. When he returned to his seat, he covered himself with a blanket. What passengers couldn't see was that he was attempting to activate the explosive device sewn into his underwear. So it actually probably looked like he was masturbating.
God, I just can't get this thing.
Like doing a weird hand thing in his underwear under a blanket on an airplane. Nope. The device was a 6-inch packet containing PETN explosive powder. To detonate it, Omar was supposed to inject it with a liquid from a syringe, creating a chemical reaction that would cause an explosion. But something went wrong with the detonation sequence. Instead of exploding, the device caught fire. Passengers heard popping sounds and smelled a foul odor. Some saw flames.
He shit his pants.
Some saw flames on Omar's trouser leg in the wall of the aircraft. He was literally on fire, suffering severe burns to his hands and genitals.
That's what you get.
I mean, karma is a cruel bitch. So Jasper Skuringa, a Dutch film director sitting several rows away, heard the commotion and saw the flames. And without hesitation, he jumped over seats to reach Omar, tackling him and helping flight attendants extinguish the fire. other passengers and crew members worked together to subdue and restrain the would-be bomber. Umar was moved to the front of the aircraft, where he told a flight attendant he had an explosive device. Flight 253 made an emergency landing at Detroit Metropolitan Airport, where he was immediately arrested by U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers and passed right on to the FBI. He was taken to a hospital for treatment of his first and second degree burns to his hands and his genitalia. He initially cooperated with investigators, admitting that he had been directed by Al-Qaeda and he had obtained the device in Yemen. Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula later claimed responsibility. So they were like, yes, 'twas us. Ugh, they love taking credit. The aftermath was swift and severe. This is President Obama is in office. He ordered a comprehensive review of detection and watch list procedures, calling the intelligence failures totally unacceptable, which it was. Several high-ranking officials were reassigned, or they resigned. The TSA's response was the deployment of the full body scanner. These controversial machines, sometimes called naked scanners by critics, used millimeter wave technology to create detailed images of your body, potentially revealing concealed weapons or explosives. By the end of 2010, around 500 of these advanced imaging technology units were deployed across U.S. airports. The scanners raised significant privacy concerns, as operators could see a lot.
Stuff.
They could see a lot.
Show me your genitals. Genitals. Show me your genitals. Your genitalia.
Oh boy. Well, these machines were referred to as the virtual strip searches. All right, let's talk about Omar's legal proceedings here real quick. They were complex. He initially cooperated with investigators, and then he stopped talking after being read his Miranda rights. A decision that generated criticism from Republican politicians who argued that he should have been treated as an enemy rather than a criminal defendant. However, the FBI brought 2 of Omar's relatives from Nigeria to speak with him, and he actually did begin to cooperate after that. I wonder if one of them was his mom.
Moms.
There's something about a mom that really can, like, or a sister. Ugh. Okay, don't know who they were, and I'm not going to speculate. In October 2011, against his lawyer's advice, actually, he pleaded guilty to 8 federal charges, including attempted use of a weapon of mass destruction and attempted murder of 289 people. On February 16th of 2012, he was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences, plus 50 years, without the possibility of parole. And he is now in
Florence.
He's in Florence. He's just a stone's throw away from us, so that's cool. So yeah, he and Reid are actually in prison together. What makes the underwear bomber case particularly frustrating is how preventable it was. This guy was known. He was known. His family knew. He should have been flagged to be unable to get on a plane. I mean, thank God that other people were not injured and it was just him and his genitalia, but it's still super fucked that he was even able to get on an airplane. And ultimately, it was the passengers and the crew who stopped this attack.
It always is.
Yeah. Woof. So we are going to wrap up part 1. We have reviewed 3 terrorist incidents that have shaped modern airport security. Take off your shoes. You can only have 3 ounces of liquid. And you go through the full body 360 imaging machine. Okay? So, unfortunately, what we really come down to is that in all of these cases, TSA never stopped
Anything.
They never really stopped one. And, you know, I feel confident in saying that TSA is reactive, not proactive. So when something happens, they go nuts with it. So here is our big question that we're going to try and answer in our next episode. Have these measures actually made us safer? Well, join us for part 2 next week, where we will examine the TSA's shocking failure rates in screening testing, the human cost of airport security. Whew. Guys, it's a big number. And the recent policy changes that have everyone asking, if we can keep our shoes on now, what the fuck? Until then, remember to stow your tray tables, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for the unexpected, because not every trip reaches its final destination.
And don't forget to please rate and review and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. She forgot that one.
I so did. I totally skipped over it.
Goodbye.